In the absolute beginning, before your modern struggles even existed, God created the heaven and the earth in a display of terrifying power. And the earth was completely without form, utterly void, and a suffocating darkness was upon the face of the endless, chaotic deep. But the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, preparing to architect the very foundation of human existence and struggle. And God commanded into the void, "Let there be light," and there was light, shattering the darkness with the sudden brilliance of truth. And God saw the light, that it was inherently good, and God divided the pure light from the consuming darkness of the abyss. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, establishing the eternal rhythm of labor and rest for all men. And the evening and the morning were the first day, marking the commencement of the greatest architectural feat in the history of existence. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And God called the firmament heaven, creating the vast, untouchable expanse that demands our gaze and fuels our unnamed ache for the horizon. And God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land finally and firmly appear." And God called the dry land earth. And the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. This dry land is the arena, the very soil where your excellence must become a habit, worn deep into the marrow of your bones. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his own kind." And the evening and the morning were the third day, establishing the roots of life that demand to flourish and break through the soil. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven, to divide the bright day from the dark and quiet night." And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth, providing guidance for the wanderer in the dark. And God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly, each completely after their own kind. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas," echoing the command for life to infinitely expand. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth. Then came the ultimate moment of design, the creation of the being meant to carry the heavy divine burden of profound consciousness. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have absolute dominion over the entire earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them both. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and forcefully subdue it under your will." And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good, a perfectly constructed arena for the human soul. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them standing in silent testimony to the power of deliberate creation. And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, the ancient blueprints of our modern, agonizing human struggle. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, taking the absolute lowest matter to forge the highest potential being. And he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul, awakened to the brutal reality of existence. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had so carefully and deliberately formed. And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight, and deeply good for food. The tree of life also stood in the midst of the garden, alongside the dangerous and heavy tree of knowledge of good and evil. And the Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it with discipline. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, "Of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat and sustain your mortal physical vessel. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for it holds the terrifying weight of consequence. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. a cinematic ultimatum placed at the very center of human paradise. And the Lord God said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him." And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, bringing them unto Adam. And Adam gave names to all cattle and to the fowl of the air. But for Adam there was not found an helpmeet. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his vital internal ribs, and the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man to shatter his isolation. And Adam said, "This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one single unified flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed, living in a pure state of untainted, ignorant grace. Now the serpent was more subtil than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made, or whispering shadow in the garden. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden, planting the seed of doubt. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, defending the divine boundary, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die, acknowledging the absolute unwavering boundary that stood between their peace and their total, agonizing destruction. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, breaking the sacred trust with a beautiful, venomous, and captivating lie. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as living gods, knowing good and evil, possessing the terrifying capacity to judge the world and bear the crushing weight of your own autonomous sovereign choices. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was incredibly pleasant to the human eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, crossing the point of no return. And she gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat, sealing the fate of all mankind in a single tragic bite. And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, suddenly aware of their profound vulnerability and total inadequacy. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons, desperately trying to cover the shame of their newly discovered, horrifying human consciousness. And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, a sound of impending judgment. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the dense hiding trees of the corrupted garden. And the Lord God called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? A question that echoes through the corridors of every human soul. And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was deeply afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And the Lord God said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done, demanding accountability for the fracture of the eternal architecture? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat, pointing to the strange whispering darkness that had infiltrated their perfect sanctuary. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy miserable creeping in completely condemned earthly life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, an eternal war forged in the soil. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel, a promise of violent, beautiful actualization and ultimate, unavoidable, grueling physical conflict. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth future struggling children. And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee, establishing the difficult dynamics of human partnership and binding loyalty. And unto Adam he said, Because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the forbidden dangerous tree. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy fleeting, difficult, demanding life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field through endless, grueling effort. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground, a mandate for excellence as a daily habit. For out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou inevitably, undeniably, and completely return in the end. This is the ultimate cinematic ultimatum, the deathbed tension that must force you to evaluate every single decision you make in this life. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living, the vessel of our continued, difficult, beautiful existence. Unto Adam also and to his wife did the Lord God make coats of skins, and clothed them, covering their shame with absolute sacrifice. And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know the heavy burden of both good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever in corruption. Therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the cold, unforgiving ground from whence he was originally taken. So he drove out the man, stripping away the strange comfort, and forcing him into the wilderness to forge his own demanding destiny. And he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a terrifying, relentless flaming sword, which turned absolutely every single way, to keep the way of the tree of life, securing the boundary between the mortal struggle and the lost. Untouchable divine perfection forever. You are a creature of that very dust, bound by the curse of the soil, but animated by the divine breath of the Creator. Your path is not one of ease. It is the violent, beautiful actualization of everything a human being is capable of becoming through discipline. You must embrace the sweat of your face, for it is the only true currency that can purchase your honor in this fallen world. Do not shrink from the thorns and the thistles that the ground brings forth. They are the resistance required to build the eternal soul. This is the divine yearning, the unnamed ache for the horizon that remains even after every modern trivial city has been finally conquered. You must pursue arete, not as a fleeting skill, but as excellence as a habit worn deep into the very bones of your existence. It is the choice made so many times in the dark that it becomes the unbreakable, undeniable, sovereign nature of the man himself. We seek homonoia, the concord of disparate souls, a brotherhood forged not in comfort, but in the shared, grueling reality of the eternal struggle. This is your deathbed tension. The flaming sword stands behind you, and the vast, unforgiving wilderness of your potential lies directly ahead. Will you cower in the shadows of your own fig leaves, or will you face the overwhelming reality of your naked, undeniable, absolute truth? The choice is yours to make, but history is watching, and the weight of your legacy will eventually crush your passivity into mere dust. Return to our channel page when you are ready to continue this infinite training, for the architecture of the soul is never truly finished.